Good evening, TC.
Good evening, Gavin.
And welcome all to our weekly podcast, The Curran View, with the Ord of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. It has been a steady away week, but it's been a manic week as well, T.
Well, it's not been steady away for me because this week has been an exciting week with Sheffield Wednesday game promoted back to the Championship. So, in other words, it's been an exciting week for a change.
Absolutely. Before we do talk about Sheffield Wednesday in a little bit more depth, let's look at your magic moments and what have you sourced for us this week, T. I'm
Gavin,
guessing.
there's only one magic moment this week. Let me tell you. Listen, you could have had George Best, you could have had Pele, you could have had Vinaldo, Cruyff, Ronaldinho scored whirly goals, and it still wouldn't have beat Windus's goal for Sheffield Wednesday. How's about that?
It's about that. It was fantastic.
And that's being biased, by the way, but it was a good header.
And 15 years after, his dad scored the winning goal at Wembley as well in a playoff game, wasn't it?
I said to Thomas, what an incredible thing that is.
Yeah.
His dad scores a winner for Hull, and he scores a winner for Sheffield Wednesday. And incredible.
And there were some magic moments regarding Dino as well, because there was there's a lot of stuff on social media about Sheffield. We will be talking about that in a bit, but he was just saying how proud he was of Josh, and no words. And I thought that it was absolutely fantastic. And again, I do want to get into the scenario of extra time must be played at games like that and cup finals because you take away moments from players. My two magic moments were Julio Enciso, the Paraguayan teenager that plays for Brighton Hove Albion. In fact, he put a crossover for the goal that was disallowed at Villa Park on Sunday. And I looked at it, I thought, wow. I've watched him a few times and I've thought, this kid has got dynamite in his boots. He looks a phenomenal player. And the Villa fans, because of one or two little shenanigans that he got up to, were booing him and they were saying, who the effing hell were you? So I kindly went onto Google and put it onto my Aston Villa friends and followers to just enlighten them to see who Julio Enciso actually is. He's a great player and he looked great in a claret and blue kit as well, by the way.
Well, what I'll tell you about that, you know, when the fans start to have a go at you, whatever the way have a go at you,
yep,
that means you are a danger to their team.
Yep.
I knew because I got a lot of abuse. Right, but I know what the abuse was about because majority of the time afterwards, and I did take some horrible abuse at times.
Yeah.
But afterwards, they were great. They'd come and ask for your autographs, and I gave them and things like that. But that's why they do that, right?
Yep.
What I will say to you is this: why is it that these Latin Americans, Europeans, all technically gifted players, what is it with those players compared to what? See, I watched Sheffield Wednesday on Monday, and they went direct.
Yep.
A lot of the time. As it happens, you know I don't like direct football, but because it's Sheffield Wednesday, I wasn't bothered what way they won, how they won, as long as they won and got promoted.
Yes.
Right. But until we change our way of coaching players and letting them express themselves, I mean, they've tried everything as this country, yet still never followed through with it, right? I can remember when, if you play on smaller pitches, you see more of the ball.
Yep.
You know, when I was a kid, there'd be 30 on pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you had to get out of tight areas.
Absolutely.
And you had to control the ball. You know why you had to control the ball?
You had to control it.
There was no space.
Yeah, and it would be bobbling on
space.
On the bumpy pitches as well.
You know when you're playing small, I've coached, you know, you're playing small sided games.
Yeah.
They are not telling you the truth that everybody gets a touch of that ball. They don't.
No.
Because the player was naturally gifted, takes the corner kicks, takes the free kicks, whatever level it's at, right? And if the touch is not good, they've still got that space to get it because there's less players on pitch.
Yep.
So the kid you want with things or brainwashing with coaching methods, right? I mean, what I was trying to say was we went down that route of following Holland.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
doing things.
Mm.
They still produce elite players. We still produce box to box midfield players.
Yeah.
That's never
Absolutely.
changed, by the way.
Absolutely, T. I mean, we got our best games over the fields and on the playground. When you're right, there's so many kids playing football. You put your jumpers down for your goalpost, and you'd have to control the ball in tight areas and pass it on or dribble past the player and make a little bit of
By
space.
the way, in
Mm.
those days,
Yeah.
there weren't many girls playing, but there were still girls when I was playing. We had a young girl when
Yeah.
I was playing at 10 and 12 called Jilawi. Great player playing with us when we were younger.
Yeah.
But different when you become into man's game and it becomes the physical
Yes.
side of it.
Mm.
You know, but even though girls in those days, even though it weren't as popular,
Yeah.
learned how to play football.
Yeah, I must admit, at our school, I don't remember a girl playing football when we were growing up in
Her
Kingshurst
dad
and
was a
Chelmsford
great,
Wood.
her dad was a great local league player.
Yeah.
Her brother went to Huddersfield, didn't make it. There was a great footballing family.
Yeah.
Ours,
Mm.
great footballing family. And Jill played full back. And by the way, she got stuck in because in those days when I was a kid, you played with senior players,
Yeah.
18-year-olds and 20-year-olds on football field here,
Yeah.
and they kick lumps out of you.
Yeah.
You know, but we still don't get it right in this country, right?
No, we don't. And going back to what you were saying, it's as though the Europeans, the South Americans, the Latins, etc., they were born with a ball at the feet. Whereas when we're coaching kids, or you go to any Sunday league team, I bet you they're working on the physical attributes of the players. I remember my younger lad um, going to watch him train. I just used to go there and watch. They done bleep test after bleep test and physical exertion techniques, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my days, I never once done anything like that.
How
When I had a training session, T, I made sure every
I'm gonna put,
player
I'm,
had a football,
I'm
and
gonna
we
put,
done no physical
I'm
work
gonna
at
give you,
all.
I'm gonna give you three points,
Mm.
right, on football. How do you tire the opposition out?
How'd you tire them out? By getting
Yeah.
the ball and working the ball and making them run after the
Working the
ball.
ball and making
Absolutely.
them,
100%.
don't giving the ball away. As
Absolutely.
soon as
Work
you
right.
get it,
Yeah.
right,
Mm.
what you don't do is go sideways, backwards, slowly.
Yeah.
You work it, prodding to go forward,
Mm.
to keep the ball, to make somebody move, to pull your centre backs out of the box, to get them out of
Absolutely.
positions where the English are not capable of playing.
Yeah.
Right? That's one of them. The second one is we work on, if we get beat, right, we're going to run you.
Yeah.
We're going to run you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the third one is when you get the ball, get it into the corner and get it out of the way. After that Sheffield Wednesday match, Tom had got the box and he's going through YouTube.
Yeah.
Up pops up, and I don't want the people to think I'm having to go at Graham Taylor, because I'm not. Because he's quite educated, really, Graham Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And what came on was, did I not like that?
Yep.
And for an hour, me, Jock, and Tom laughed and
Yeah.
laughed and laughed.
Mm.
And then I said to him, because even when we're trying to talk to him, when you get to that thing when you're laughing, you can't stop laughing.
Yes.
I said to him, now do you see why we're way behind? He got the national players.
Yeah.
Right? He got national players. Right? And he's telling them, what did I tell you before we went out? Hit it long. Hit it long. Hit it early. Right? What coaching is that? You've got the international players, what's educated enough to understand how to play the game. But we've always worked on effort and working hard. And they always say, if you work hard and you get effort, the fans and everybody will, no, you won't, because you have to win. But when you're an elite club, you have to win in style.
Yeah.
Manchester City will never accept winning without playing that type of football when the day when Pep Guardiola leaves Manchester City. I guarantee you that.
Mm.
So how we've gone about anything in football, it's been backwards.
Absolutely. Are you watching the Partick Thistle versus Ross County playoff game in Scotland?
No.
There's a fella, Fitzpatrick, I think his name is. Really looks as though he's got a bit about him, this kid. Just scored a brilliant goal. The ball's come out, cushion control, inside, outside, two backs, and just curled it into the bottom corner. Absolute fantastic goal. So I'm going to include that from that young man in, I don't know what his first name is, but his second name's Fitzpatrick. And that's going to be included into my magic moments because that was one hell of a magic moment. And Edward Lowen, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this boy. He's a German lad and he plays for St. Louis in the Major League Soccer. Against Vancouver, he took a free kick. I'll tell you what a goal. It was, I mean, it was very different to Roberto Carlos's with Bartes in goal. But I tell you what, this ball, I've put it on the current view. He's hit it with such a whip, and the ball's just, it's almost like a Shane Warne delivery at the end. It's just changed the angle. It's gone right in the top corner.
Right. So you're watching Scottish football.
I'm watching any football.
Do you?
Yeah.
Thomas watching the American football last night, or soccer, I should
Okay, yeah.
call it football, because people think you're talking about the American football itself.
Yeah, soccer.
Soccer. They were saying your mate's team Inches got beat last night, Dad. I said, "Oh, has it started?" He said, "No, it's been started a bit, but now you'll see more of it now." So you were watching that. But I've come into other bedroom out of way, and I could have put it on in other bedroom, but I've not bothered to come into bedroom and just talk football with you tonight, really.
Is Inchi still the manager of Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been over there some years, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's done.
Well, the thing is about America, you'll get well paid in there.
Absolutely.
And there's more clubs. If you get the sack, there's more clubs in there, really.
Yeah, there is.
There's more states, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. And just while we're talking about America, Anthony's moved on from being the interim boss of America to, I believe he's going out to the Middle East. So we might be changing Alan Hudson's American Dream to Alan Hudson's Arabian Adventure. So watch this space. More from it coming forward, yeah.
But it didn't tell you where he was going to go to, did it? I thought he'd been offered a job with a club, but I thought it was in America.
No, I believe it's in the Middle East. I believe it's. I'm sure that I read it somewhere on his mum's Facebook pages. But we will be talking about that. We won't be doing a current view next week, T, because I'm away in Turkey. But we will be doing a final one the week after, where we're going to pick our team of the year, and that involves any kind of player. I don't like just this Premier League. You can any players that you've seen in Spanish football, Dutch football, Italian football, whatever football, and you can pick whoever you like in your 11. We'll do that not next week, but the week after. Just want to give a shout out to our Patreon site, allthews.patreon.com/SRB Media, which is the easiest way to access the whole of our podcast. And if you want to purchase the merch, allthews.srbmedia.co.uk/shop, mugs, mats, and t-shirts. And Terry Curran's book is in there as well. Give me the ball.
Well, that's good. Yeah, you can always buy that book. Give me the ball on our website. Give me the current view.
Absolutely. Or private message Terry directly, and Terry will send you a signed copy over. And then the magic moment of all was Dean Windas's goal. I thought the lad who put the ball across, I thought he'd done ever so well. I mean, he kind of checked, didn't he? Checked, and he just looked up, seen Windass there, and put a fantastic ball in there for not Dean Windass, but Josh Windass. And to be fair, when Sheffield did fall off, their form fall off the rails a little bit, it did coincide with Josh Windass not being playing. He's so integral and so important to Sheffield Wednesday, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got that bit of pace about him and
Yeah,
all, and we did miss his goals, but I've always tell you this.
mm,
Our coaches will go and pundits will tell you hear them on TV, right? They're defending one, but yeah, I don't give a damn who you are.
yeah,
If the ball is a perfect ball into the right area, nobody can defend against it.
no,
And that was the ball where it was in the right area at the right height for him to dive and head it.
yeah.
Gave the keeper no chance whatsoever.
No, it was absolutely fabulous. And that takes us on to my first talking point this week, too. I've heard lots and lots of things about taking away extra time because it gets quite boring, nothing happens in extra time, and go straight to penalties. My attitude is absolutely not, 100% not. I want to see another 15, 30 minutes of football, and I want to see a player try and score a goal or a team try and score a goal, just like Josh Windass did, because, you know, if Sheffield Wednesday would have gone through on penalties, okay, the Wednesday players, fans, will still have remembered it. Of course they would, but others probably wouldn't. But everybody will remember Josh Windass's goal because it was absolutely fantastic, and that's what extra time is all about for me.
Well, you see, don't forget we get older. You're getting a new fan base coming through, aren't you?
Yes, you are.
And they will see things different. So we look at it and think, well, so and so. So I get both sides to it. I don't like penalties one little bit because
No.
the person who misses is gonna get the abuse.
Yeah.
You know that.
Mm.
So that's the reason why I don't like penalties. I'd sooner finish the game off, and if not, a replay,
How
right?
How about the American system where they have their shootout? You know, they go from a
Do they still
25
have
year old.
that shootout type of
No,
thing?
no, they don't, because every game used to have a result in it. I remember Alan telling me about his first shootout. He'd never been involved in anything like that before. It's quite extraordinary. But, I think you have something like 10 seconds from the 25-yard
Yeah.
line and you run up and you just try and score the goal. I think there's more skill in that than taking a spot kick. Or alternatively, why don't they take a play after every 5 minutes, take a player off, so then you'll be like, after 5 minutes, you'll be 10 aside, after 10
Mm.
minutes, you'll be 9 aside. I mean, you'll go into half time at 8 aside, and by the time you get to 5 aside, I promise you someone would have scored a goal from open play.
Well, again, you're never going to stop one half or a percentage of fans turning around and saying that's crap.
Yeah.
Either way, isn't it? You,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know that.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
The thing is, you'd like to see it won in 90 minutes
Yeah,
and then stop all bloody arguments.
yeah,
But penalties is an idea after a game because you want to see the end of that game in one sense.
yeah.
But the excitement of the replays used to be brilliant
I
in
used to
our
love
day.
them,
But
yeah.
it all changes, doesn't? That's the problem with it.
Sadly, there's that much football being played, and not in this country in domestic football, but in European competitions. Because the European Super League, and we're not going to call it the Champions League anymore, we're going to call it the European Super League because that's what it is. It certainly isn't a League of Champions, but it is a league of super teams, and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you cannot play two leagues in the same season. I do believe going forward, big sides will be in both. And I think that, say, for instance, Manchester United, they'll have a European Super League team, and Manchester United will also be able to play their other team in the in the Premier League. And I think that's how they'll get around it. And something's
I
got to
think you
snap
might
because you
be. I
can't.
think you never thought of that, Gavin. I think
Mm,
you might be right there with that.
I just don't think we
But
can
there's no
keep
break
going.
from football, is there? They go on about players are too. But there's no break from football because
No,
as soon as our season finishes,
yeah,
you've got like the American. We can see American football now or
yeah.
soccer now on our TVs, or you'll find South Americans.
I like this kid, by the
Uh,
way. This what's it, Fitzpatrick?
so you're going to get all that type of thing. So you
Yeah.
never getting a really rest from it, are you?
No, you're
And
not.
then what is it now? Ended 1st of June. End of June, you'll be back.
Yeah,
Early July back training.
yeah,
And then what you got then is the pre-season games,
yep,
uh, Middle East tours and all that type of thing. So
selling
it's
shirts.
never ending, is it?
No, it isn't, and because of what are we now? So we're going into 2024. So we've got a Euros, haven't we? At the end of the next season, it is Euros, isn't it? We've had the World Cup,
Yeah,
so
we've
we're
had
back
World Cup.
back to back to the Euros, and I think the season's going to be starting probably the first weekend of August, so it's going to be early August. So you're absolutely right. So there isn't much in terms of respite for players, but again, if you keep the wages of the players, if they keep going up and up and up and up, then there needs to be more games of football. They will add on more games of football. They'll invent more competitions because they'll want more money to pay the players at the top end, and it's a downward spiral. And it's
We have to get, we
going
have
to
to
hell in a
look at it.
handcart.
And people have to look at everything and
Yeah,
look at it and say it for what it is.
yeah,
Look,
absolutely.
it'll always be expensive in this country.
Yeah.
Before we went into Europe,
Mm.
right? Before we went into Europe, they said, "Oh, if you were in Europe, everything would be cheaper," because people used to go and get the cigs in Europe, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
And
yeah.
beer and everything else.
Mm.
Then they used to come back. Then they started stopping that. Right? So when we got into Europe, were our cigs and beer cheaper? No. What causes that? Why are there cigs and cheap beer, booze, and everything else cars? I used to get a brother what used. I used to
Tax.
have a brother. I got a brother what used to get his cars in Germany,
Yeah.
and he'd have it built right hand side
Mm.
because it was £3,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
And when we got into Germany, that never happened, did it?
No.
Into Europe, it never happened.
No. Of course
Right?
it
Why
doesn't.
did it happen? Because I can remember a guy saying when that VAT came in, he said, once you let this in, it'll be on your food, it'll be on your clothes, and that's what happened. Everything in this country is taxed.
Absolutely.
Up to
100%.
You take Sky. There's a guy being done for streaming football.
Yeah,
Dodgy,
five of men there.
right? Been streaming, right? Are they going to stop it because there'll be somebody else what sets it back up again?
Yep.
And there'll be somebody else what works for Sky or somewhere else, some engineer, what'll have a system what they can get round it for the next 5 years or 2 years or whatever it is, right? So everything is that expensive here still. Where my mates are in Spain, and it's cheaper to watch Sky in Spain.
Yeah.
But they have dodgy boxes in Spain as well, as he said. But he has Sky, right? And he says it's cheaper there. It's about £10.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's different
It's
broadcasting
about
rights.
£140,
Yeah.
whatever it is. If you got everything on Sky, it's about 140 quid.
Yeah. But again, it's about the rights, isn't it? So there's broadcasting rights to the Premier League. The players are being paid so much money that the broadcasters are putting the prices up. Sky's putting the price up.
But why is it cheaper in Spain?
Because it's a different package that they get. So you get overseas rights packages that they buy and then they can broadcast, and you get the packages that the broadcasters buy in this country. They're two separate things, and that's why they'll have that 3 o'clock game. You can watch any game when you go to Spain or Turkey, etc., etc. And over here, you can't.
Why is it we have to pay more than any other European country? Why?
I know, it's incredible, but again, we're paying that much money out for players.
But forget having to pay for Sky. I've just said to you, everything's still expensive.
100%.
When we were in Europe, forget football, everything was expensive. If we're going to the EE, right? Not EE.
The EU,
yeah. EU.
Mm.
If you're going to EU, everything would be cheaper, but nothing did get cheaper.
No, not at all. No.
You know, as soon as summer comes, always the flights went up on the aeroplane. You know, holidays, didn't it?
Yeah.
Up down the country, all the holidays went up.
Yeah. It must be the most expensive country in the world to purchase anything and to certainly watch football. And now next season you've got this TNT that was BT, you've got Sky, and you've probably got Amazon Prime or one or two other people that's getting involved in broadcasting Premier League games. So the fans are going to pay more and more and more. The season ticket prices are going up and up and up and up and up. And it's just it's just incredibly expensive for any fan. In fact, I wrote a poem about 20 years ago, Give the Working Man Back His Simple Game. And, that simple game that we all loved and grew up watching, that game now is far too expensive for most working class kids. And you know
Gabby,
what, T? That's why they buy these Fire Sticks, because they can't afford to buy the product on Sky.
Gabby,
Mm.
it says on this show either 3 weeks ago
Yep.
or a month ago, right? They don't want fans
I know
in
you
the
did. You've
ground.
been saying that for 12 months plus,
And
T.
what I mean by they don't want fans in the ground, they don't want the standing fans in the ground.
No, of course they don't.
They don't even want the seats anymore now.
No, they want the middle classes watching football.
They got rid of the standing.
Yeah.
And then the seats, right? Now they don't want the seats. They want corporate.
Of course they do, yeah.
They want corporate.
Mm.
For a corporate ticket, which was a meal in a cushioned seat at Wembley, was £300.
Incredible. Mm. Yeah.
Right. That's what they want.
Of course they do.
And they want what you've just said about the working man's game.
Yeah.
Well, they want you to buy it off at television. They can't even afford that, Gabby.
Of course they can't. No. And this is the problem with football. It's getting far too expensive for the working class masses to watch the game that they love, and that's what I wrote in a poem over 20 years ago, and it's just getting worse.
15 years ago, when Thomas was 15, I took him to Sheffield Wednesday with my mate Ray and his lad.
Yeah.
I bought 4 Cokes 15 years ago upstairs, right, into what they call it, lounge, sponsors lounge.
Yeah.
£11 for 4 Cokes.
Yep.
15 years ago.
Yep.
My brother, right, got a £10 rise on his pension. I said, "Oh, you got a £10 rise on your pension?" He said, "What good is it?" He said, "My rent's gone up £10.
Yeah.
So it's not just football in this country.
No, absolutely. Everything.
It's every mortal thing.
Yeah. I just saw
every mortal thing.
On a Sheffield
You go to local Tesco's and get some veg there, right?
Yeah.
Forget what price it is.
Yeah,
when you get home, it's a load of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Peeling potatoes and they're all bruised.
Yeah. I mean, I've just been browsing through the internet.
And by the way, I don't buy cheap taters, me.
No, absolutely.
I always buy expensive taters, which is £2 for a little bag.
Yeah, yeah. But I was just looking at the Curran View on Twitter, and guys, you can follow the podcast at Curran View on Twitter, or the Curran View on Facebook, and join the group, the Curran View on Facebook as well. And there was a young Sheffield Wednesday lady, and she was saying that she took her girls to the cinema. It cost them £65. So you're absolutely spot on. No matter what you do, it is pretty much rip off Britain. And it gets worse and worse and worse. But moving on to Book Corner in association with myfootballbooks.com, Andy always gives us a recommendation. He's been a little bit busy the last couple of weeks, so I haven't disturbed him. I think he's back on it now. So I've picked 3 in his absence. The first one, and Andy promotes all these books, so go onto his website, go onto his Facebook and Twitter accounts, guys, and look at the fantastic books that Andy promotes. And Mr. Corinthian, P.A. Jackson, and the Casual Corinthians by Lou Walker. I mean, that looks a fantastic read. One of the oldest football clubs that we got, the Casual Corinthians.
Is that the Brazilian Corinthians?
No, they grew out of that. So in that book, it would be, I'm guessing, it would tell you how the Corinthians grew out of the Casual Corinthians.
The Brazilian Corinthians,
Kitch played for them, the Corinthians.
Who?
Kitch? Peter Kitchen?
Yeah, but are we talking about in Brazil, Corinthians?
No. This is Casual Corinthians in England. They were an
that's
old English team, but the Brazilian team, the Corinthians, grew out of the Casual Corinthians in England.
Yeah. If you just say that, that's what I was trying to say to you.
Yeah.
Brazilian, because Juventus got the kit because of Notts County.
Absolutely.
The one in Spain, not Atletico Madrid, Atletico Bilbao, got the strip from Sunderland.
Okay.
So that's what I was trying to say. Is that
Yeah.
the Corinthians in Brazil?
No. P.A.
I know you kept
Jackson.
saying no, but you didn't say no. There's the Corinthians in England. But I've never heard of them
Yeah.
really.
Casual Corinthians.
And to listen to the rest of this podcast, head on over to www.patreon.com/SRB Media. Thank you.